Hi everyone and welcome here to my channel. In today's tutorial we're going to be making this scrap yarn bucket hat to match with our messenger bag that we made last week. So I decided to make a few scrap yarn video tutorials, and next week I'm going to be making one more. And I decided to use all my yarn stash as well. This is how it looks like inside. I was going to make a solid color, but then I decided to make all checkerboard, even though I still prefer the other side. This is how this side looks like. Okay, so you can make solid or you can make these color changes. They are a little more difficult, but I'm going to explain everything in this video, okay guys? And also I would like to announce that I finally finished my book, and my book's now on Amazon. I'm gonna show you here for you guys to see. So in this book what I did was I made a full introduction of around 20 pages only about panel making for you guys that can't make panels and really want to make garments. I explain it all step by step with nice photos and everything. And it is 16 patterns, and every single pattern has a video as well, so you can just scan the code and access the videos from the book. Okay, so the links down the description below as well, and here there's a QR code if you guys want to access it. I'm really happy about it, really excited about my first book, guys. So let's get started with this tutorial. Here is a very quick tutorial as well. It's fast to make and it's not very hard. Okay guys, and I think it's a great gift for friends as well. So let's get started with this beautiful project, guys. To make this bucket hat, what you're gonna need is enough solid color to make the brim on your Sentro 22. So I decided to make my brim on a double knit yarn just because the double knit makes a little less wide brim. As you can see, this is a worsted weight yarn and this double knit, just to compare here. They're both made on the Sentro 22, and so I decided for the double knit yarn because it goes easier on that machine, and also because I wanted the brim not as wide. Okay, so for my brim I used 120 rows on a Sentro 22. And here's my scrap yarn. I decided not to make the knots like I did for the other project before, because it's easier just to put the yarn as you go and then make the knots after, okay, like I'm gonna show in a second. I got another bucket hat that I made a while ago out of recycled denim and crochet, just to measure. So my measurements, I got 15 centimeters all the way to the top, because we're making round. That's the way I'm going to be measuring it. And plus the brims, which is a little thicker than this one, so I'm going to be making around 34 rows times 2, because I'm making double. The hat's gonna be double layered, okay? So 15 times 2, because my gauge is 20. I have 20 rows in 10 centimeters on the worsted weight. I'm using worsted weight for the rest of the hat, okay guys? So it's 15 times 2 plus a little bit just for the cinching, and that's why I'm going to add that extra 4 rows on the top, okay? So that's what I'm going to be making now. I'm going to use the Sentro 48 to make the hat. Cast on from needle 1. We are not going to use waste yarn because we are going to cinch both ends, okay? So just cast on every needle to work on the tube mold. Now I'm going to turn on my row counter. I just installed it, guys. I'm so happy about it. I'm going to use the row I made for the other project, which I already had knots for it, so that's why I'm you know, I'm having to use these knots. The reason why I didn't make knots this time is because the knots, they don't pass through the yarn guide, so I think it's better just do it after. See, they don't go through. I have to actually remove and make them by hand. Like this. But I'll be swapping this yarn every 1 or 1.5 rows, because I want to get the same effect here for the hat that I really like, actually. And this is the next project. It's gonna be in the link down in the description below, guys. It's a super easy project to make as well, and it's a super cool bag with solid color inside that you guys can make as well. All these leather things that I bought on Amazon, they are really cheap as well, and I think it's a really trendy bag to have. Anyway, this is the next project. And then when my yarn ball with the knots finished, I'm going to just start adding the yarn like this to change the color. And then once it's there, you can make a knot straight away, or you can make the knot after a few rows as well, it won't matter. And then I'll make 1 row or a little bit more, and then just cut the yarn and add the new color. And then keep changing the yarn until you have 34 rows. Or if you want to keep changing the yarn and have the both sides, like you can swap and it's reversible, you can do that too. Or you can do a solid color on the inside and just have a reversible bucket head this way, okay? For the knots, it's always better if you make 1 single knot before, and then when you make a few rows after it, just make the second knot so you can pull it tight and the stitches won't look loose at the end. And all I'm going to do with this yarn here, just really cut it. You can make an extra 3rd knot if you want on top. And I'll just cut smaller. Not too small, otherwise it's gonna easily show on the front. It's like this size here, so it doesn't go to the front of the work. And then on the inside I have here 35 or almost 36 rows, and on the inside I'm going to make a few rows with the white now. These are gonna be the rows that are gonna be right on the bottom of it. And then for the other side from here, what I decided to do is the checkerboard. So I'm going to be making all the rows with checkerboard. So to do the checkerboard, what I'm going to do, and I made a few tutorials like that before, I'm going to add the black and put the white on the back. I'm gonna be making a little checkerboard, otherwise the stitches will be too loose on the back because we are exchanging the colors. Work 2 of white on the front, 2 on the back, and then swap like this. Always making sure it's tied, okay? And I explained this on my Fair Isle beanie before. If you guys watched that tutorial, all you do is swap colors with your fingers like this. So this is gonna be the side where it's reversible, so that's gonna be the other side, okay? And then here, that's the second row. I'm going to be making black on top of black, but then on the next row, I'm going to be exchanging that, okay? To get that checkerboard effect. And then now, because I have to work 4 stitches, because now I have 2 black here, okay? I would have to work 2 extra stitches with the white. So what I'm going to do, on the second stitch here, I'm going to put the black inside, just so it's in, and this is not too long on the back. And then I'm going to swap for the white where the black is, right on the beginning of the row, okay? And then just keep working normally. I'm going to be working now 2 rows in the same position. And if you want all of a checkerboard, you can do all the rows. I'm thinking I'm going to add a little color in between 2 checkerboard exchanges here. I'm going to do 1 more row after this, and then I'm going to swap to probably orange or some just bright color, and then I'm going to repeat this again, okay? And then now this is how the mess is looking like. Look at this. Anyway, guys, just make sure you tie all these knots on the back here. And then, so I made 3 rows of a different color in the middle of the checkerboard changes. So 2 checkerboards, 3 on a solid, and then 2 checkerboards again, and then 3 more, and then 3 more here. And now I'm going to be making 8 extra rows in the black only. And that's for the top of the reversible part of it. And then I'll just cast off after this. Make a full row without yarn. And with the same yarn, cast off the stitches. Because we are going to cinch both ends, remember? I actually would like to make knots before in every single stitch here, just to secure them before you remove from the machine, because it's going to be much easier this way. And then just remove all the stitches off the machine. After you make sure all the knots are all tied on the back, and then cinch the back one first, the inside one first. Make sure it's very tight. Then repeat for the other side as well. I hope I don't hit a knot, because I forgot about that. It's gonna be hard to cinch if there's a knot, you know what I mean? So make sure you make a few rows with with the same color on the beginning. But I think I'm fine. Just so this is our bucket hat now. Let me see the other side that I'm really curious about. That's the checkerboard side of it. And then try it on to see if the length's alright. But because we are going to add this on the bottom, I think it should be fine for a bucket hat. So I'm just gonna show you how to, I think I forgot here one. Now I have to reopen just to check where this is. So go ahead and finish this, guys, and then I'm gonna show you how to attach the brim to the hat itself, okay? For the bottom part of it, I made 120 rows. And now the first thing I'm going to do is just seam and close this as a tube seamlessly. And what you do is you just grab one of the yarn tails with the other one and make sure they are right in front of each other so you don't twist the tube. And then what I'm going to do, and I know it's hard to see, and I'm going to put the stitch here for you guys to see what I'm doing on the drawing. I'm just going to grab one loop of each one of the stitches, the one that has the tail, which is the same one that I am working with now, which is this one here. So from that side to this side, and then again in the same stitch here, and in the very next one. I made this stitch a few times as well, so it's nothing new. If you follow my tutorials, here and here for the second one. Always 2 times in each loop. So I'm going to repeat all this around, but before I get to the end, when I have 3 or 4 stitches on this side here, I'm going to remove this waste yarn, okay? And then as you can see here, I just put the last few stitches through a needle so I could remove the waste yarn from the insides, and then I'll close this bit here. And this is how it looks like. And I'll just make a knot here at the end. And then hide these tails on the back. If I don't think it's long enough, I might use this to seam now, and then just put this one inside. And then now, guys, here is the beginning. That's where we're gonna start seaming, and then just place a marker in the middle and halfway, just so you go with the seaming on both sides the same way, because here we have a little more stitches only to make the shape of the bucket hat. I'm going to start with this tail. I don't think it's enough though. And then what I'm going to be doing is here I'm going to grab one stitch like this and one like this. I know the row I have to make because I changed from the red to the white, so it's gonna be on the last one. And then on the bottom I'm going to be making the mattress stitch. I'm going to be trying to use always this same row, okay? And then here I'm going through 2 of them. You will probably need to go through a few more of them on the other side. Just sometimes go through maybe 3 of them. And then only 2 here, just to catch up at the end. That's why we need to place the markers there. And then the 2 again. And then try to fold on that one stitch that you're gonna use for seaming. Just align it with the rest of it so it's easier to spot the stitch. And this one's gonna be quite easy to seam. So I'm going to repeat this stitch all around, making sure when I get to this point here, I'm on the same spot with both, and the same for all of them, okay? Guys, I'm just about to finish this seaming, and 2 things I want to say about this seaming. It's probably the hardest part of the whole hat, but I finished before, I made the whole thing before, and what happened was I made all the knots and I seamed it too tight so it wouldn't fit on my head. So what happened was I had to remake the whole thing. What I suggest you to do is first you can use another yarn color because it's not gonna show anyway, and it's just easier to spot the stitches this way. And I went through 3 of the rows on the other side every second stitch. So I changed the color, and then what I'm going to do here, just to show you guys quickly before I finish this, just stretch this, so just to make sure it will fit on my head. It needs to be very stretched, otherwise it won't fit. And then try on your head, and once you're sure that's gonna fit, you just make a knot and hide this tail here, okay? I'm going to do this now, and then I'm gonna show you how it looks like fitted. So guys, this is how our bucket hat looks like. I even added a little tag here, and this is how it looks like on the opposite side. So this is the side that's gonna match with the bag. And I'm making one more project for the next week to match with both of these using all my scrap yarn. So just a few things that I wanna say. First is this brim here of the hat. Just make sure you make an extra 20 rows so it's a little more wide and it will fit better. And also what I wanna say is that this part here, even though it's super pretty, I think, it will stretch a lot when you wear, so I don't know, I'm not too sure about it. So you can wear on the inside anyway. It looks really nice like this, I think, but when you try it on, unless you have a small head, this is gonna stretch, okay? So I prefer this side here, and to match with my beautiful bag as well. So guys, thank you all for watching this. I'm going to leave the link down on the description below if you want to read this pattern. It's gonna be on my website as well, and you can make this for kids. You can just, you know, make less rows here in order to fit a kid's head as well. The brim would be exactly the same because of the number of stitches that you have here. And again, make sure you finish this last seaming very loosely, okay? Otherwise this is not gonna fit your head and you have to remake like I did. Okay guys, thank you all for watching, and I see you on the very next tutorial. Bye!